Get ready with me while I tell you about the time that my dad tried to me. So while my dad was in prison, my mom ended up finding somebody else. He was basically like our stepdad. And my dad had like a really big problem of us talking to him. So when he got out, he cut basically all contact with me and my stepdad. I think it was 8th grade year. My stepdad wanted to take me and my sister school shopping. He had arranged to do so. I think I was at my cousin's house, met up with him, and he took us shopping and brought us back to my cousin's house. So my aunt had texted my dad and informed him that we went shopping with my stepdad. It didn't take all but maybe 10 minutes after for my dad to pull up to my cousin's house. When he got there, he had dragged my mom out of the house because we lived next door to my cousin. And then he came over to my cousin's house and grabbed me and my sister out of the house. And then grabbed all of the clothes that we just bought. So after he made a big scene at my aunt's house, he got all of us in the car, including the clothes, and started driving back to my grandma's. But while we were on the highway, he decided to throw every single item that my stepdad had just bought us out the window on the highway. It was like a really big slap of the face because it was like maybe $400 worth of new clothes, and my sister and I didn't get new clothes often, so it sucked. But at this point, we are driving home. He is repeating over and over again that he is going to crash the car as he speeds with my sister, my mom, and I in the car. As we are almost reaching my grandma's house, he goes to crash the car into a tree, but then yanks it right before he crashes all of us into it. He just kept repeating over and over how he would end all of us. We ended up making it back to my grandma's, and he locks all of us in a room, and it happens to be my brother's room. So now my brother gets involved. My dad was in the midst of trying to hit my mom. My brother steps in, and he tells him to stop. And my dad gave him a warning, basically saying, if you don't want to get your ass kicked, get out the way. It was so hard to watch because my brother, he's my older brother. I see him as my protector, but at the same time, we are just kids. So he did move out of the way. At this point, my mom's on the floor and my dad has his arm cocked back, and I jumped in front of him. And I told him, everything was my fault, that I reached out to my stepdad. I shouldn't have. I won't again, that there's no need to continue everything that he had already done that night. Regardless of how bad my dad treated us, I've always had the best relationship with him. So he kind of always had a soft spot for me. When it came to him crashing out like this, I jumped in front of him and I had told him everything. He brought it down a couple of levels. He left my mom alone and he kind of focused all his attention on me. He asked me for my phone, threw it on the floor, stomped on it, and told me if I ever reached out to my stepdad again, that he would sit him down in front of me and him in the head. After he made his point and did his big one, we ended up just picking ourselves back up. He left, and I don't think he came home that night. That is one of the times that he has tried to end my entire existence. And it happened to be over a Ross trip. Principles, but a Ross trip. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Love y'all.
Get ready with me while I tell you guys about the story that I got sent. So it started off by me meeting this guy a few months before COVID started. We were texting for a while, getting to know each other, and eventually I started to like him. We're going out, and eventually my girl best friend moved around my area. We're hanging out a lot, and I eventually told her about my boyfriend. She was happy for me, but then she started acting weird. She hits him up, and he ends up sending me a screenshot of her trying to get at him. She asked me if I wanted to hang out, so I was like, okay, sure. So whenever I went to her house, I ended up confronting her about it. She got mad at me and told me why I would ever think that she'll hit up on my boyfriend, but then I showed her the proof. After I showed her the proof, she kicked me out of her house, and I went straight to my boyfriend's house. When I went to my boyfriend's house, I told him what happened, and he told me to drop her. So then I dropped her, and then COVID started, so I couldn't see my boyfriend as much. We take a little break because COVID did start, and we couldn't really see each other, but we'll still text seeing how we were doing. Then my best friend sends me a snap of them together. And the reason why they had a chance seeing each other more is because they were in a gated community together, and they lived like 30 seconds away from each other. When she sent me the snap, she didn't have one boyfriend, but she had two. But then I snap her back and tell her what she's doing with my ex, and she just blocks me. But then I text my ex and I tell him that I want nothing to do with him and that I don't want to hear from him anymore. Moving forward to this year, we talked about it and made a solution. Now we're all good with each other, but we're not friends. Okay, that is the end of the story, but let me give you guys some feedback. First of all, that friend isn't your friend. And I hope that you cut contact with her, and if you did, good job. I know it's hard to cut off contact with a friend that you're best friends with, but if you did so, proud of you. And for your ex to be letting himself like that, and then your ex, he doesn't even have any respect, so don't go back to him. I know how girls be with their ex, just don't go back. At the end of the day, keep your head up and be careful on who you hang out with.
Hey guys, so I get a comment at least every day saying, oh, didn't you have a boyfriend? What happened to your boyfriend? So get ready with me while I talk about how I got broken up with. Okay, so I'm gonna start off with what I did wrong first because I don't want to make myself look good the entire time. And honestly, this isn't even wrong, it's just what led to it. Okay, so does anybody know that trend where you post on your story, slide up for a cookie, and then you go and silly string people? Okay, so I posted that. And I was with a group of friends, mind you. So my friend's neighbor, that's a guy, slides up on the story. And he's like, oh, we want a cookie, da-da-da-da. So we go to his house to give him the cookie and silly string him. Obviously, me being the good person I am, I communicate that. And well, he doesn't like that, so he makes this whole argument. And I told him 2 days later whenever we hung out because I didn't tell him over text. And so he makes me take him home and everything. And so then that whole week, he doesn't text me or anything. And he's sending me the most dry snaps of the wall. And then he tells me, I think it was on a Thursday, that him and his friend were going to the mall with these two girls after I had asked him to hang out. So I was like, okay, what the heck? I'm literally done. And so then after he gets back from the mall, he texts me, hey, I don't think this is working. I need to focus on basketball. Mind you, he's on the sophomore team too. I don't know what you're focusing on. But yeah, something along the lines of that. It was really stupid. He said he wanted to focus on basketball. And I was like, there's absolutely no way I'm getting broken up with like this. I was honestly so embarrassed for myself because I got broken up with because somebody wanted to focus on basketball. And so obviously I'm confused and really freaking upset. This guy I'd been dating for 7 months breaks up with me because he wants to focus on basketball. And he's not even that good at it. I can now see why he wanted to focus on it. But anyway, it's not the point. I was really upset about it. So obviously, I begged him to stay. Which is, really embarrassing now that I think about it. Because, I don't know. That's just don't do it. I don't recommend it. If they want to leave, let them leave. And that clearly didn't work. Anyways, so I think I want to say a week goes by. And he sends me a video of him on Snapchat at a party saying, fuck you, with all his friends. I already fucked 2 girls. And I was like, damn, you must have no self-respect. I honestly wish I would have screen recorded that, but I didn't. And mind you, that was only a week after we broke up. That is basically just as bad as cheating. And if he got with someone so soon, that girl was there the whole time. And then he found out I kissed this other guy, and he was like, oh my gosh, that's such a downgrade for real. I kid you not, he was so pressed. This boy's ego is bigger than the 2 biceps on his arm. He still has a big ego now. Like, he literally thinks he's the shit. It is honestly so annoying. I hate guys with a big ego. My friend sent me like a photo the other day, and it's a picture of his public profile, and it says the streets are calling. I'm sorry, but just because you pulled me doesn't mean you're gonna pull other girls. I'm sorry, but the only reason I'm being such a hater right now is because of how like dirty I got done. And I literally do not care for his feelings like at all. And the only reason I'm just now talking about this is because I'm like tired of seeing comments asking about it. So I'm just delivering what you guys asked for because I'm a messy bitch. If I didn't have 400,000 followers, I would probably at him too. No, I'm just kidding. But if someone happened to at him in the comments, I wouldn't delete the at. Because I definitely would want everyone to go hate on him. I'm sorry, but I'm not one of those mature TikTok girls that are like, oh yeah, my condolences go out to him. I just want nothing but the best. Like, no, I literally hate him with a burning passion. Alright, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed that. And moral of the story, don't date somebody on the sophomore team. And listen to your friends, because all my friends thought he was ugly as shit. No offense. I'm not gonna say, like, my opinion on that.
Get ready with me for a sleepover while I tell you guys how I got jumped at my last sleepover. Just kidding, y'all thought I got jumped? But I almost did actually get jumped, but this was like a couple years ago, so let me tell you guys the story. So this was like in like 4th or 5th grade, I can't really remember, and we had like a big friend group. It was like 6 of us, and we all decided to have a sleepover at this one girl's house. Joe, we were the friend group that always argued and then got back cool. So our messy selves at one sleepover, all in one house, yeah, something was definitely about to happen. Okay, so basically as soon as we get there, you know, it was cool at first, and then of course 2 of the girls start arguing. I don't even know why. Me being the messy person I am, I start recording and they're not even fighting, like they're just arguing. So girl, put your phone down. But then again, I was in like 4th grade, so if anything popped off, I was just gonna record. Like, so once they start arguing, then they started getting physical. Like they started punching and hitting each other and they start fighting. They're done, you know, I don't know what they were doing. You could just see me I was just in the corner just recording. Like, I don't know. One of the girls that got punched in the stomach and can barely breathe, she was huffing and puffing. She starts getting mad at me, talking about some, Kyle, put your phone down, why are you recording? Okay, yeah, I shouldn't have been recording because it was very unnecessary, but girl, don't take your anger out on me just because you got punched in the stomach. My best friend Erica, she was recording as well, and so she goes to Erica and was like, you too, girl, I don't know why both of y'all are recording, and she started walking up on us. I'm just like, girl, is it that serious? Like, calm down, like we're not gonna send it to nobody. And the other girl rises up because she was on the ground just getting beat up, and she's like, yeah, I don't know why y'all are recording Huh? Girl, wasn't y'all just fighting? Don't try to game up on me and my best friend. So they start walking up into our faces. We're going back and forth, arguing, and then her mom comes downstairs. Mom tells us to shut it down, go to bed, and we turn on a movie and just go to bed because it was just too much going on. The next morning, she has this like event. I'm just like, okay, if you had an event, then why are you having a sleepover the day before? And then the next morning, she leaves us at her house. 5 of us are in the house, home alone, in her house. And she got mad at us because we didn't clean up. Left us at your house. But now I'm best friends with the girl, so Adriana, I love you so much. Don't get offended, girl. It's just a story time. But yeah, guys, love you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, y'all, for the gospel.
Get ready with me while I talk about the time that I got caught with a boy in my room at the age of 14 by my dad and stepdad. It all started freshman year when I had this boyfriend, and I posted on my story, swipe up for a TBH and a rape. He had, of course, swiped up on my story, and I gave him his TBH, and it was like a pretty good paragraph, and towards the end I put something along the lines of, I'll sneak you in one day. And I was very, very all talk. I really did not mean what I said, but he thought I was being dead serious, and you know, he never let me forget it. He would always bring it up and would always be like, so are you gonna let me just come in? Like, he was very pushy about it, so I kind of felt forced to, but I never did until the whole COVID thing happened. Let me just explain my situation. I had been living with my mom while doing my online studies through Zoom, and I would visit my dad and stepmom every Thursday and Friday. And one day I was there, and long story short, I snuck him in, and it was successful. Let me just say I was never really slick with it because I had done it multiple times, and I thought I was getting really good at it. But let me just say, one time my dad found my window screen on the floor outside, and another time I guess there was a shoe print on my wall and my stepmom had saw it. Now my dad was pretty naive about finding my fucking window screen on the floor because I basically just told him like, oh, it got really hot and like I tried opening the window and it fell. He believed me, so that was that. My stepmom, she never mentioned the shoe print to me, but it did raise her suspicion. Anyway, so she had her suspicions, but again, she never told me anything, so I thought I was being a slick ass bitch. I was not. But anyways, let me just preface that I was pretty good at doing it. You know, not a flex or anything, but I was pretty fucking good at it. I was pretty slick about it. You know, I would always tell him like to come at like 3 a.m. because I knew that everyone would be like dead fucking asleep. But as time slowly started to pass, like I started decreasing the time because I thought I was just so good at being sneaky. Sorry, y'all, I had to change the angle because my knees were on fire. But anyways, I started decreasing the time. Like I would tell him like, oh, like I guess you could come at like 1, I guess you could come at 2, or like sometimes I would be like 12, which was a stretch because sometimes my dad and stepmom would still be awake, but I didn't really give a fuck because I just thought I was that good, even though I wasn't. Obviously I wasn't slick enough, but I thought I was because I would turn on the ceiling fan and I would turn on Netflix and kind of just have like some type of volume there to mask our voice. Zombie fucking dirty. I know you thought some dirty shit. It was not Netflix and chill. But anyways, go to part 2 for the rest.
The other day at work, I had 2 moms come up to me asking me if I was single for their sons. I'm a barista at a cafe, so I make drinks, take orders, and serve. This one family comes in with 2 sons and 1 younger girl. One of the sons was about my age. I only remember because he had like the bluest eyes ever. I take their order and they sit down. As I'm serving them their food, I notice that they're kind of acting a little weird, but I don't really think too much of it. They order more food, so I put it on their tab, and later their mom comes up to pay. Guys, like I have a pimple on my lip. As she's paying, she looks at me and she's like, so, do you have a boyfriend? I kind of like awkward laugh and I'm like, yeah, I do. Why? She was like, oh, my son thinks you're really cute, but he was just too shy to come up. I was like, oh, thank you, but yeah, I do have a boyfriend. She kind of seemed like a little upset after that, but I mean, like, it's not really my fault. Like, I did feel bad. Like, I feel really bad, but it's like not my fault I have a man, you know? Now, even an hour later, I had like this like group of like older ladies come into my work. And when I was taking their order, this one lady was like, oh my goodness, like, you're so beautiful, like, you're so gorgeous. She was saying it like mostly in Spanish, and then she was like, where are you from? And then she was like, I have a son. In my head, I was like, not again. Like, of course, I was being nice, so I was like, oh, that's cute. She was like, yeah, he does auto repair, he does this, he does that, he's very handsome. And then she asked me, are you married? Am I married? I laugh and I'm like, no, I'm not married. And then she asked if I had a boyfriend. I was like, yes, I have a boyfriend. She still proceeds to talk about him, and she even pulls up a picture of her and him. It was so cute, but like, no, like, this guy had to have been like in his late 20s. I was like, oh, yo 16 años. Like, I'm 16. She was like, oh, you're a youngster. No, but she was super nice though, and she kept complimenting me, and like, she even called me her baby. But yeah, that's probably like one of the most craziest work days I've had. But that's it. Thanks for watching.
Story time of when my entire friend group fell apart in literally one day. Okay, so this was 2 years ago. So I hosted a Friendsgiving at my house, and this one guy decided to break up with his girlfriend at my party. I'm pretty sure he broke up with her outside. So she came back in and she started crying, and she ran up to my room, and I let her stay there obviously because she just got broken up with. But it's like, why are you breaking up with people at a literal gathering? That's really weird. So we were all inside my garage, like, doing workouts and stuff because we were just doing, like, whatever. He comes back in and he's like, guys, I have something to tell you. And so we were all having fun, so we stopped and we looked at him and we're like, okay, what do you have to tell us? And he was like, I'm moving away to Japan in 2 months. So we were all like, what the hell? And that instantly killed the mood, obviously. We were really sad that our friend was gonna move away in 2 months, which sucked. Okay, I do not remember the timeline of these events, but I just remember when we started eating, it was really, really awkward. And then at this point, while the girls upstairs and the guys downstairs, people are starting to choose sides. Some of the girls are like talking about the girl downstairs with the guy, and like some of us were talking about the guy upstairs. But I was the party host, so I was just like up and down, up and down. So then the girl leaves and she says something like, I can't remember exactly what she said, but she said like, I hope you had fun, or like, I hope you something, like, I hope something. And then as soon as she left, the guy started making fun of her, and it was just a really dramatic like moment. I really don't know how else to explain it. So then since we find out my friend is gonna move to Japan, we're like, okay, let's hang out a little more since you're gonna move away and we're never gonna see you again. So me, my friend, and him decide to hang out at the mall the next day, and that's when things go down. Like the things that I witnessed, that's when like the other half of the friend group like went down in flames. I'm running late for school, so let me know if you guys want a part 2. Okay, part 2 to when my entire friend group fell apart in one day. And the drama gets really, really good, so I promise, just keep watching. So me, the guy who broke up with his girlfriend, I'm gonna call him K, and this other girl, I'm gonna call her M, we went to the mall. And keep in mind, M has a boyfriend throughout this entire thing. Just in general, overall, they were flirting. They were saying some questionable stuff, and I didn't know what to do about it. They got matching Crocs and all these different things. I was high-key third wheeling, and my dad was our ride, so I was like, okay guys, we gotta go. And they were like, no, like let's stay, let's watch a movie, blah blah blah. And I was like, okay, well, I gotta go because my dad's here. They decided that them two, they wanted to go watch a movie by themselves. And the boyfriend ends up finding out they went to the movies by themselves, so he gets really pissed. And the ex-girlfriend of Kay also found out that she went to the movies alone with him, and so she was really pissed too. And then she stopped talking to her. I think she called her, like texted her and was like, oh, you're, which was a little aggressive. And at this point, everyone was just mad at each other for different reasons. Keep in mind, Kay's ex-girlfriend is still one of my best friends at the time, but also M is also one of my best friends at the time. So I was really conflicted. Like, I was literally all over the place. It was not okay. In the end, that friend group completely deteriorated. Like, I am not really close to anyone in that friend group anymore, or at least anyone who went to the Friendsgiving. Anyways, that was part 2. Thank you guys for watching.